Have you ever felt too loud for the quiet people, but too quiet for the loud ones? Or maybe you love people, but you hate groups. For 100 years, we've been told there are only two boxes, introvert and extrovert. We were wrong. The truth is, there are 5 distinct types of social energy. And in 2025, a new type was discovered that changes everything we thought we knew about belonging. Today, we are breaking down the science of your social battery. By the end of this video, you won't just know your label, you'll know how your brain is wired. If you want to help us hack the YouTube algorithm like an extrovert working a room, smash that like button. And if you prefer to quietly support deep research like an introvert, gently press subscribe to join our network. Let's dive in. For a long time, psychology used a simple system made famous by Carl Jung. You were either inward focused or outward focused. But humans are complicated. We now know the middle ground includes the adaptable ambivert and the shifting omnivert. And recently, Dr. Rami Kaminsky identified the Otrovert, a type defined not by volume, but by a lack of desire to fit in. To understand why you are this way, we have to look at your brain's internal settings. Think of this as an internal volume knob that controls how alert your brain naturally is. Introverts have a high natural volume. Their brains are naturally buzzing. Because it's already loud inside, they avoid noisy places to prevent getting overwhelmed. Extroverts have a low natural volume. To feel normal, they have to turn up the volume by finding noise and excitement outside themselves. It's also chemical. Extroverts are hungry for dopamine that makes them feel good when taking risks or getting rewards. Introverts thrive on acetylcholine, which makes them feel good when calm and focused. Now that we know the mechanics, let's start with the type that sets the standard for how our society operates. Extroversion starts with brain biology. Scientific theory suggests that extroverts actually start with a low natural volume inside their heads. Their brains are naturally quieter. To feel normal and alert, they need to turn up the volume. They do this by finding noise, excitement, and activity outside themselves. It's also about the reward system. Their brains are hungry for dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel good when we take risks or get rewards. They need a lot of excitement to feel the buzz. Think of the extrovert as a phone with Bluetooth set to always discoverable. They are constantly scanning the room for other devices to connect with. When they connect to the group network, their battery charges up. But if they are disconnected, stuck in airplane mode, their battery drains fast and they anxiously search for a signal. Socially, extroverts are the ones who start the conversations. They process information by talking out loud. They often speak to think. In groups, they keep the energy moving. They are belongers who sync up easily with the energy of the people around them. Their favorite settings are high-energy places like festivals, big parties, or busy mixers where they can meet new people. At a party, the extrovert is the first to arrive and the last to leave. They move from group to group, introducing people to each other, often standing in the middle of the room. If it gets quiet, they will talk just to keep the energy alive. Silence feels scary to them. Extroverts are the glue of society. They are the connectors who introduce strangers to one another and the organizers who rally people together for a cause. Their natural enthusiasm helps spread ideas quickly. They are the leaders who speak up when things need to get done. However, there are challenges. They can be too dependent on other people's feedback to feel good about themselves. Sometimes they can dominate a conversation, making it hard for quieter people to be heard. They might also struggle to sit still and think deeply about a problem before acting. They see friendship as an activity. A friend is someone you do things with. They are usually the ones initiating plans and have large groups of friends who share similar interests. They act as broadcasters, keeping group chats active. If they don't hear from you, they might worry you don't care. In romantic relationships, they are pursuers. When they are stressed, they move toward the person to talk it out immediately. Their creativity is collaborative. They come up with their best ideas by brainstorming, debating, and bouncing ideas off others. Logic wise, they are verbal processors. They figure out if an idea makes sense by saying it out loud to hear how it sounds. They usually bounce back faster from rejection, but they can be too dependent on other people's feedback to feel good about themselves. Jobs that require talking to people all day, like sales and public relations, are perfect for keeping their energy high. Elementary teaching is a surprisingly good fit. Little kids are loud and active, which suits the extrovert's tolerance for noise. Event planning is another strong option, as it requires roles that involve moving and managing large groups of people. Students learn best by doing and talking, like in group projects. They struggle with sitting still, listening to long lectures, or studying alone in silence. They benefit greatly from leadership roles in class. Teachers who are extroverts create fun classrooms, but need to remember to give the class quiet time to think before answering, so they don't overwhelm quieter students. Extroverts need workouts that create a buzz. Team sports like soccer, basketball, and rugby offer high energy, social interaction, and an audience. They love the feeling of working hard together as a tribe, making CrossFit and group classes ideal. For a solo rush, adrenaline sports like skydiving or rafting give them the big rush of excitement they crave. Hobbies often involve social hosting, throwing dinner parties, or organizing community events. They also enjoy performance hobbies like karaoke, debate club, or improv comedy. In theater, their acting style favors improv. They are great at reacting instantly without overthinking. Ideal roles include the lead in a musical, involving singing, dancing, and acting, or the comic relief character. On the tech side, they excel as producers handling money and people, or directors managing the actors. When interacting with introverts, don't take it personally when they need space. It's a physical reset, not an insult. Give them time to think before demanding an answer. With ambiverts, trust them. If they say they are tired and need to leave, believe them. Don't pressure them to stay just because you have energy. With omniverts, be careful during their down moods. Don't try to cheer them up with noise. Let them hide until they are ready. Finally, with Otroverts, accept that they may never join your group. Hang out with them one-on-one, and don't be offended if they say no to your big parties. Extroverts run on solar power, absorbing energy from the outside. But what about the people who run on batteries, where every interaction costs a little bit of power? Before we meet them, leave a comment. What is the longest you have ever stayed at a party? Now, let's turn the volume down. Introverts are the opposite. They have a high natural volume inside their heads. Their brains are naturally buzzing with activity. Because it's already loud inside their heads, adding more noise or people pushes them into overload. They need to go to a quiet place to recharge. While extroverts crave dopamine, introverts are sensitive to a chemical called acetylcholine. This makes them feel good when they are calm, focused, and safe. Think of the introvert as a device where Bluetooth is on but set to hidden. They can connect, but they choose to pair with only one device at a time to save battery. Staying connected drains their power, so they must disconnect frequently to recharge. Introverts are observant and thoughtful. They think before they speak, often working out a whole sentence in their head before saying it. Their social energy is like a fuel tank. Even fun events burn fuel, so they must be alone to refill the tank. At parties, the introvert arrives on time to avoid the awkwardness of entering a full room later. They stay near the edges or find a safe base, like a close friend, the snack table, or a pet. You will likely find them in a corner having a deep conversation with just one person all night. They prefer depth over breadth. They often leave without saying goodbye, the Irish exit, to avoid the exhausting process of long goodbyes. Introverts provide depth and caution to society. They are the architects of thought. Because they spend time alone, they often come up with deep innovations, write books, and solve complex problems that require long focus. They are also excellent listeners. However, in a world that rewards being loud, introverts can be overlooked or ignored. People might mistake their quietness for being stuck up or bored. They might struggle to sell themselves in job interviews, even if they are the most qualified person for the job. In friendship, they like parallel play, feeling connected just by being in the same room with someone while doing their own thing. Their style is the gardener. They take care of a few deep friendships and find shallow friendships exhausting. Their home is their sanctuary. If a partner brings chaos or lots of people into the house, the introvert feels like they have nowhere to rest. In conflict, they are distancers. During a fight, they need to walk away to process their feelings. If you force them to answer right away, they will shut down. They are solitary creators. They need alone time to focus, which helps them solve complex problems or create art. Logic-wise, they are reflective thinkers. They scan for problems and think carefully before acting. They care more about being right than being fast. They are very good at soothing themselves without needing other people to help. Jobs in research and science are ideal, where focusing without interruption is a superpower. Specialized healthcare roles, like examining x-rays or working in a lab, allow them to help people without constant talking. Students prefer studying alone. They dislike being cold called, asked to speak without raising their hand, or forced group work where the loudest person gets the best grade. Introverted teachers create calm, organized classrooms. However, the performance of teaching can tire them out, so they need quiet breaks to recover energy. Exercise is often moving meditation. Swimming is great because being underwater literally blocks out the world. Precision sports like archery and golf require lowering your heart rate and blocking out distractions. Controlled fitness like yoga involves breathing and internal focus, usually without talking. They love making things, woodworking, pottery, or knitting. Observation hobbies are also key, such as birdwatching, photography, or astronomy. Their acting style is the Stanislavski system, using personal memories and ignoring the audience to focus on the scene, a concept called public solitude. Ideal roles include tech roles like lighting or sound designer, working alone in a booth. With extroverts, tell them, I need 30 minutes of quiet to recharge. Then I will be ready to talk. This stops them from feeling ignored. With ambiverts, let them take the lead in social situations, but be sure to thank them so they don't feel used. With omniverts, set boundaries. When the omnivert is in a crazy up mood, protect your peace and don't feel like you have to match their energy. With Otroverts, connect on ideas. You are safe with them because they won't pressure you to join group activities. We've looked at the two extremes, the loud and the quiet, but most people feel like they are a little bit of both. What happens when you are right in the middle? By the way, tell us in the comments, what is your go-to Irish exit strategy? Now, let's meet the peacemaker. The ambivert is the Goldilocks personality. Not too hot, not too cold. They sit in the middle. Their brain activity is average. Ambiversion is about mixing. They blend traits using the listening skills of an introvert and the social skills of an extrovert depending on what is needed. The ambivert is like a device with smart switching. It automatically changes its connection mode based on signal strength, the environment, and battery life. They are the only type with a stable power saving mode. They can pair with the group perfectly, but can also turn Bluetooth off to save power without crashing. Socially, ambiverts are chameleons. They can hang out comfortably at a party, but will eventually get full and need to go home. Unlike the omnivert, the ambivert's behavior is consistent and predictable. Their favorite setting is a mix. They are comfortable in business meetings and quiet libraries, as long as they can control how much they interact. At a party, they might start the night with high energy, but as their battery drains, they will naturally move to quieter, smaller conversations. They leave feeling satisfied, neither wired nor exhausted. They are often the best guests because they can read the room. Ambiverts are the universal translators of the world. They understand both the quiet people and the loud people, so they can help them understand each other. They are stable, flexible, and emotionally balanced. They make great managers because they can adapt to different employees. However, because they can be both, they sometimes feel like they have no strong identity. They might be indecisive or fence sitters. They can also burn out from trying to be everything to everyone, being the life of the party for their extrovert friends and the therapist for their introvert friends. Ambiverts act as bridges between different friend groups. They are low maintenance friends who can adjust to whatever the group wants to do. Their friendship style is the stabilizer. They keep friendships going because they are so adaptable. In relationships, they offer balance. They can go to the party with their partner, but are also happy staying in. In conflict, they are practical. They can listen, introvert trait, and state their needs, extrovert trait. They just want to fix the problem. They are adaptive creators. They are great at taking a wild idea and making it work in the real world. They are balanced reasoners. They can switch between thinking alone and brainstorming with a group to find the best solution. They are usually the most emotionally stable. They can control their own emotions and understand others without getting overwhelmed. Management and HR are perfect roles because they can lead diverse teams, understanding both the quiet and loud employees. Sales and negotiation suit them well as they can balance talking with listening. In education, they can switch between lecturing and one-on-one help. They are sustainable teachers who manage energy without burning out. As students, they do well in standard schools. They often help bridge the gap between the quiet students and the loud ones in class. Ambiverts need flexibility. Hybrid sports, like tennis, singles, and doubles, offer a perfect balance. They love class-based fitness with independence, like spin classes. You get the group energy, but you control your own bike. You are alone together. Book clubs are ideal. Reading is solitary, but the discussion is social. Volunteering is great because roles with a clear task provide connection without the pressure of pure small talk. In theater, the ideal tech role is the stage manager. This requires focusing alone in the booth calling cues, but also managing the emotions of the cast. It suits their ability to switch modes. On stage, they play the main character, or the everyman. Their acting style is practical aesthetics, analytical but action-oriented. With introverts, use your adaptability to draw them out, but know when to back off. With extroverts, you can match their energy for a while, but be clear about when you need to leave so you don't burn out. With omniverts, be the lighthouse. Do not try to match their crazy swings. Stay steady so they have something stable to hold on to. With Otroverts, engage them in specific shared interests. You are flexible enough to handle their non-belonging without getting offended. Ambiverts are the steady mix. But there is another type that lives in both worlds, not by mixing them, but by swinging wildly between them. Before we get to the chaos, ask yourself and comment below. Do you feel steady, or do you feel like two different people? The Omnivert is different from the Ambivert. While the Ambivert lives in the middle, the Omnivert swings between the extremes. Think of the faucet analogy. Ambiverts run warm water, mixing the hot and cold. Omniverts run hot water full blast, extroversion, then shut it off and run cold water full blast, introversion. There is no middle ground. They're like a device with a faulty receiver. It jumps wildly between broadcasting at 100% and dead battery. The signal is either overwhelming or gone, causing social whiplash for anyone trying to pair with them. Omniverts appear changeable. They can be the life of the party one day and completely isolated the next. Why do they shift? It is usually caused by their mood or energy running out, not by choice. In extroverted mode, they are dancing on tables, leading the conga line, and staying late. They are magnetic and wild. In introverted mode the next day, they won't just be quiet. They will likely cancel plans, ignore texts, or be visibly grumpy if forced to go out. Their main challenge is consistency. Friends might see them as unreliable or two-faced because their personality flips so drastically. Omniverts bring intensity and passion. They experience the best of both worlds in high definition. They can be incredibly charismatic leaders during their on phases and deep, profound thinkers during their off phases. They drive dynamic changes in society. However, they often struggle with social whiplash, confusing people by being best friends one day and strangers the next. Friends and coworkers might see them as unreliable or two-faced because their personality flips so drastically. Their friendship style is the comet. They are brilliant when present, but distant when gone. They need friends who don't get offended easily. Romantic relationships feel like a roller coaster. The omnivert loves passionately and socially, then retreats into a shell. Conflict can be volatile. They may demand attention one day and feel suffocated by it the next. Their thinking style changes. In an extroverted state, they take risks and decide quickly. In an introverted state, they become over-analytical and cautious. Because omniverts swing between high energy and withdrawal, people often mistake this for bipolar disorder, manic depression. However, there are critical differences. First is context versus chemicals. Bipolar mood swings are caused by chemical imbalances and happen regardless of what's going on. The omnivert's swing is a reaction to running out of battery or specific situations. Second is time. Bipolar episodes usually last weeks or months. An omnivert can flip in 24 hours. They aren't clinically manic. They're just maximizing their social time until they crash. The main problem for omniverts isn't illness, but reliability. Friends may not trust them because they don't know which version will show up. They need roles that allow for changing energy cycles, such as entrepreneurship, consulting, or project-based work. In school, they are the wild card. Teachers may be confused by a student who leads the class debate one week and refuses to speak the next. They learn best in flexible classrooms where they can choose between a presentation or a written report depending on their energy. Omniverts cannot stick to one routine. They need periodization. They enjoy variable intensity, loud spin classes on up days and solo trail running or home yoga on down days. Their hobbies reflect their swings. High stimulation activities like gym memberships mixed with solitary pursuits. In theater, their ideal role is the swing or understudy. This is the hardest job in theater. It requires months of solitary study, introvert phase, followed by sudden high pressure performance, extrovert phase. Their acting style is the Meisner technique, relying on impulse and living in the moment. They play volatile characters well. With introverts, warn them about your swings. "I am in high energy mode today" helps the introvert prepare. With extroverts, be clear about your recharge needs. "I'm not mad at you, I just hit a wall" stops the extrovert from feeling rejected. With ambiverts, lean on their stability, but don't abuse it. Admit that your inconsistency puts a burden on them. With Otroverts, you can bond over being different. The Otrovert won't judge your sudden withdrawal. Omniverts are trapped swinging between the two boxes. But our final type has stepped outside the box entirely. They aren't plugged into the network at all. Before we meet them, question for you. Have you ever canceled plans just because your mood shifted? Tell us below. Now, let's meet the outsider. In 2025, psychiatrist Dr. Rami Kaminsky named a new personality type, the Otrovert. The name comes from the Spanish otro, meaning other. While introverts turn inward and extroverts turn outward, the Otrovert turns elsewhere. If society is a network, the Otrovert is permanently in airplane mode. Their hardware works perfectly. They can process data and function independently, but they refuse to pair with the local network or cloud. The main feature is resistance to group identity. They lack the urge to merge with a group. Socially, they can be charming and pass as extroverts. However, this is a mask, not a real connection. They value being real over fitting in. They often refuse to follow social rituals just for the sake of it. At a party, they hate mingling and small talk, viewing it as fake. They will find one person and have an intense conversation in a quiet area, creating a private bubble. They may leave suddenly once that conversation is over, without saying goodbye to the group. Otroverts are the antidote to groupthink. Because they don't care about fitting in, they are often the only ones brave enough to say, "The emperor has no clothes." They are natural whistleblowers, innovators, and truth tellers who can see reality objectively because they aren't blinded by loyalty to a tribe. The negative side is a deep existential loneliness, feeling alone even when surrounded by people who like them. They can be misunderstood as arrogant, cold, or not team players. They may struggle in jobs or schools that demand high levels of team spirit or conformity. They are the pickiest personality. They don't have squads. They have separate individual friends who may never meet each other. Their friendship style is the individualist, loyal but distant. In romantic relationships, they make fiercely independent partners. They need a partnership of two wholes, not two halves becoming one. In conflict, they will walk away from emotional manipulation. They value truth over keeping the peace. They are radical innovators. Because they don't care what the group thinks, they are immune to groupthink. They come up with unique ideas because they never learn the rules of the box. They have meta-empathy. Because they have a strong boundary between self and other, they don't get swept up in other people's emotions. This makes them great in crises. Otroversion is frequently confused with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. However, Otroverts are typically neurotypical, typical brain function. The key difference is choice. They can read social cues perfectly. They simply choose not to join in. They don't usually have sensory issues. It is also not a trauma response. Trauma causes avoidance out of fear or anxiety. Otroversion is an innate trait, a preference for independence. They are not broken or hiding. In fact, many Otroverts are socially capable, popular, and highly successful. They just don't feel the need to merge their identity with the group. Suitable occupations include investigative journalism, specialized consulting, and solo entrepreneurship, roles for truth tellers. Students often resist forced group work and school spirit events. This isn't rebellion, it's a defense of their independence. They learn best solitarily, engaging in self-directed projects where they can go deep into a niche interest. Otroverts reject standard fitness culture. They like functional activities like rucking, walking with a heavy backpack, or wood chopping. They also enjoy niche combat sports like historical European martial arts, HEMA. Hobbies focus on craftsmanship, making guitars, binding books, or restoring watches. They love discovery, such as learning dead languages or hunting mushrooms. In theater, their ideal roles are the villain, the narrator, or the anti-hero, like Elphaba in Wicked. They also excel as playwrights or dramaturgs, script researchers. Their acting style is method acting. The intense psychological digging appeals to them. With introverts, you are natural allies in avoiding crowds. With extroverts, this is the hardest pairing. You must set boundaries. I love you, but I hate your party. Encourage them to go without you. With ambiverts, use them as your translator. They can navigate the social niceties you dislike. With omniverts, you offer them zero pressure, which they love. Just don't expect them to be consistent. So we have the 5 types, from the people who power the grid to the people who live off it. Now, let's put them all in a room together and see what happens. But first, what is one group ritual you refuse to participate in? Let us know in the comments. Understanding personality isn't just about labeling people. It's about understanding how we recharge and connect. We've met the introvert, needs quiet, the extrovert, needs people, the ambivert, needs balance, the omnivert, swings wildly, and the Otrovert, does their own thing. Let's imagine them all at one dinner party. The extrovert is holding court in the living room, energized by the attention. The introvert has volunteered to wash the dishes just to get a break from the small talk. The ambivert is floating between rooms, translating between the loud group and the quiet group, helping everything flow. The omnivert is either dancing on the table or they are texting to cancel 5 minutes ago because their mood shifted. And the Otrovert? They found the one other interesting person in the room and are debating philosophy in the corner, totally ignoring the rest of the party. And on a Saturday night off, the extrovert is heading to a music festival. The introvert has their phone on Do Not Disturb and is reading a book. The ambivert is having a nice dinner with close friends, home by 10 p.m. The omnivert is either booking a spontaneous trip to Vegas or installing blackout curtains to sleep for 14 hours. The Otrovert is solo hiking or fixing a vintage watch in their garage. By recognizing these types, we can stop trying to force everyone to be the same and start appreciating the unique way each person contributes to the world. Thanks for watching. If you found your type today, let us know. And don't forget to subscribe. One last question for the comments. Which type sounds most like you? And do you wish you were a different one? Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay curious.